Sky Sport continue to bring you all the action from a very busy back end of the season with International Rugby League aplenty. Tonight we're at Trust Stadium in Auckland's West. Tomorrow at Eden Park. Tonight it's the third and final game of the England Community Lions and their historic trip down to New Zealand. This is the lineup they'll be fielding today. They lost against New Zealand Māori at Rotorua on Sunday. They'll be looking to pick themselves up for this one. Hayes is at the back. Gale and King, the skipper today. Lazenby's been pretty good and Tier's got plenty of pace. Dixon and Spavin again. Some responsibility on these two young halves. But they've got some gutsy guys in the middle as well. Stark, O'Brien, Morgan, Kennedy at the back. And a decent sort of interchange. It's coached by Richard Owen.
Well, Richard, you come into this game with a win and a loss. What are you expecting from the New Zealand residents today?
We've done a little bit of homework and we know they'll be good, we know they'll be physical and we know they'll be very well drilled. So, yeah, we've put things in place to combat that. We're hoping, hopefully we can implement it today. What's
the game plan and the message to the players out on the field today?
We've got to be prepared to give ourselves a chance. I think we've put quite a bit of ball down over the past few games, and that happens when you're on the road quite a bit and your back-to-backs and your turnarounds are pretty short. But, yeah, we've worked on looking after the ball, respecting that, and hopefully we'll get a bit of a better slide on the penalty count this week as well.
And how's your time been in Auckland? You've got to do some sightseeing while also being in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been hectic, but it's been great. You know, 9 games in 3 days, and then we've been to schools and done some community stuff there, which the players have loved. So we've had a fantastic time, yeah, and we just hope we can round it off with a win today.
Well, great to have you here, and good luck for the game.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Here's the New Zealand residents lineup, and Andrew Almatangi from Canterbury is coaching this squad. Doyle was good last week in the Māori jersey, so was Toto Purcell. Francis Ledger likewise. Really keen to see Ackland. It's his debut in a black and white jersey. And of course a famous rugby league family. Barner's in the mix, so's Kapawa. It's a fine side for coach Andrew Almatangi.
Well, Andrew, coach of the New Zealand residents, what's the key to bringing all these players from around New Zealand together in such a short time?
Yeah, it's a pretty short turnaround, so just getting to know each other and, you know, building some relationships and just having that trust is going to be key tonight. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
And during the week, you got to train a pose against the Kiwis team. So what was that experience like for you and the players?
Yeah, just a huge highlight for the boys. I think it's the first time in a while, so something special, you know, key memory for the boys, and just looking forward to another memory tonight.
What's the key message to the team today out on the field?
Just go hard. You're representing, you know, your whānau. Lot to play for, you know, an international fixture. It doesn't come around too often, so just take that opportunity.
Well, thank you and good luck.
Cool, cheers, thanks.
Here they make their way out onto the field, the New Zealand residents, and a proud moment for many of these young players. Here come the Community Lions as well, sprinkled around many clubs in the UK, and it's great to have them here in New Zealand. It's been 12 long years since the Bala squad, the British Amateur Rugby League Association, toured New Zealand, and they'll make their way out onto the track. And a nice little touch here as well. You might acknowledge the England Community Lions as they welcome onto the field for his last international match. Fran King, the skipper, is proudly from Wathbrow. He is 31 now, and he's hanging up his boots internationally, that is. He's played with Wathbrow for 26 years. And he says, you know, it's really about the relationships that rugby league's afforded him. He's had trips to South Africa, to Fiji, and now to New Zealand. And he says that it has been a wonderful ride. Very popular rugby league player in this touring squad, Fran King, as we await an opportunity for the national anthems as well. I too would like to acknowledge the young people who are here from the Margaret East squad, Northcote Tigers, Marlins, Tattoo Roosters and Richmond as well. We're about to get underway with national anthems as those young players from Tattoo are here today, boys and girls, and wonderful smiles. Great to have you along this Friday evening. Hope you've had a good week. We're building up to a wonderful celebration of the 13-man code.
you could stay standing for the national anthem of Aotearoa, New Zealand.
Great to have you along here on Sky Sport as well, and the New Zealand anthems. Wonderful to be beside Richie Barnett and also Lewis Brown, who are with us in commentary today. The officials on field for today: Joseph Green in control of the whistle, assisted by Viggo Rasmussen and Rochelle Tamoroa. We're about to get a haka from New Zealand residents, as mentioned. The first time in the black and white jersey for many, made up predominantly of the successful teams in the New Zealand Rugby League Premiership, and they have been bonding for the better part of the week at Te Mahurihuri Marae here in Auckland as we await the haka for New Zealand residents.
Yeah. So whoop.
The Iwi Kiwi led there by David Barner, pretty spirited, and of course it's not the sort of thing you encounter in good old Mother England there often, Richie Barnett, no. So that one will stick in the mind.
Fantastic, good challenge there. Marcus O'Brien, we just saw him in the picture there. He's ready for the challenge. Certainly need to pick up their game. They're in a different league, the New Zealand resident side. David Barner, they're taking the breath now just to settle down. But certainly a big jump, a big challenge for the Community Lions side this weekend.
Well, we've been lucky enough to see a lot of these players at the back end of the season. Great to be working with you again too, Lewis Brown. I know you're a very proud Cantabrian, and there's a decent sprinkling of boys from the red and blacks in the lineup.
Yeah, great thing. A lot of boys from the Canterbury team, unfortunately beaten in the final by Akarana, but also a connection with this Community Lions side. A lot of players, 7 players from this team are actually from Cumbria, and Jared Stokes, who actually used to coach the New Zealand residents, actually coached up in Cumbria. So that's a small connection there, and all whānau at the end of the day.
Fantastic, and big ups to Mr. Stokes. She's a good lady as well. They'll be watching out today. Hope you're keeping well enough there, my old mate. It's been a while since I've seen him, to be honest. But I know he's back in the Garden City now. Pleasure to be bringing you the action. This is Trust's Community Stadium in Auckland's West. It's in wonderful condition. And we're underway with the final game of the 3-match tour of the England Community Lions. They are playing right to left in the distinct red and white colours. They'll have to get away to a decent start here, some mistake-free football for the first 5 or 10 minutes. It would be really what the doctor ordered. The doctor, of course, being Richard Owen, who is the only person on the 22-man tour that's been to New Zealand. So they've certainly enjoyed their stay. I'm saying that they've had a few Māori experiences. They've done the zip line and they've been out to Hobbiton, as you can see at the start. And they poor play the ball, and that's exactly what they didn't need, Reggie.
Yes, certainly throughout this whole tournament. Jet lag was a major issue when they arrived. They settled down, there's a better preparation, but 60% completion rate on average through this tournament. Needs to be a lot better than that. 80% you'd expect to be competitive against this resident side.
Well, many of the players representing Thado Health Crusaders, there's a number of players in there today. Colin Dwyer, Jamie Tracy, Marcus O'Brien, and Mike Stark, who's playing in the number 8 jersey today. Marcus O'Brien, sorry, from Egremont, well represented too. And of course, number from Wathborough, as we see the New Zealand residents team with it. Tevin Arona is the co-captain today in jersey number 7. Francis Ledger with that other distinction and responsibility. Nicholas Halaleo has the ball at the moment of their about 10 end from the touchline, eastern touchline. We're broadcasting from the western side of this park. That's a decent hit on Todua Purcell. He's a go forward man. He's played all season with this tough, uncompromising attitude. I'll take something out towards rattle him. Tuitama was outstanding last week in Rotorua as well. He's with the ball now. Yeah,
the combination between Tuitama and Francis Ledger, they really peeled them apart last weekend for the New Zealand Māori side. At right edge, certainly an area where they have to be much better defensively.
Great to see Alex Todd in jersey number 8 too. He's a tough competitor as Arona looks to put it into the end goal. Covered up, but only just, by Gareth Gale. He has the ball just outside his own line. And already the black and white jersey starting to swamp in on the red and white. Gutsy effort from Marcus O'Brien. He was taped up big time on Sunday. And of course, New Zealand Māori got the edge over them with a 40-24 result. But a win to the tourists last Thursday in Taupo, where they played a North Island selection. Either way, it's got to be good for the international game and fostering goodwill between the countries that play rugby league.
Yeah, great for the international game, like you said, Dale. You know, opportunity for these guys to come over and tour in New Zealand and get an experience against a quality side in the residents. A lot of these boys in this team had to pay £3,000 their own way to come over here, and this shows what kind of dedication they want to have towards their country.
Geronimo Doyle on the halfway line, again exceptional, wonderful anticipation. Tangi Whakambo now with the ball. Of course, we have the Fijian team playing against Samoa tomorrow afternoon. Hope you're able to come along if you're watching in Auckland. The wonderful triple header. 2 o'clock. It's Samoa-Fiji, followed by the Kiwis and Great Britain. And topping it off, Tonga do battle with Australia. Eden Park, the venue. Tickets still available. Should be a wonderful celebration of international ball as we see Tangi Whakambo on the far side of the field. Up quickly though to make the tackle. Out there in the centres. Fran King, Jack Lazenby's been pretty good too for the tourists. This ball's an up and under. It's allowed to bounce. And then easily taken by Gareth Gale.
Really impressed with the defence. They're coming up and having some big shots, and hitting the stick is fantastic. This is where the game will be won. They've realised that they're a little short last weekend. They're moving the ball to the C defender at the moment. They were stuck in the middle last weekend against New Zealand Māori side, but it looks like they're trying to isolate and play out the third defender.
Good to see young Curtis Tier. He's just back for the under-19 European Championships. He saw him score a runaway try last week against New Zealand Māori. As Marcus O'Brien feeds up through Spaven. Now through the boot of Carl Dixon, angles it towards touch on the far side of the field, but it won't get there. Doyle retrieves it just outside his 20, and he's content to take the tackle. And a good chase on the far side as well. Some nice little work here from Penatito Ilaliot from Linwood. made the New Zealand merit team last year, and he's got plenty of pace. It's the residents here with the ball. Well, they met on Tuesday at an opposed training session against the Kiwis, which would be a highlight for some of these effectively club players. Okay, regional as well, but come up against those professional guys and be in the same company has been wonderful. But a lot of card playing going on, as is always the case on tour.
Yeah, a lot of card playing, a lot of spending time to get to know each other. You build great friendships that last forever. But I've really been impressed with the community Lions here in the first 5 minutes, really staying in the arm wrestle, getting off their line, kicking early, and got themselves into a good game here.
Richie, it was so important that they haven't had much field position at the moment, though. They've been down this end. The kick almost found its way into touch on the far side of the field. It's Dave Kennedy. And he rolls to his feet. O'Brien comes left, Spaven, and now out to Dwyer. Trying to get around the outside is Gale. Pops the ball back on the inside, and that's okay. Retrieved by Dwyer. So a bit of run on here for Community Lions. Just at the 50-metre line, Spaven working it quickly across and into the hands of Dixon. He's isolated and claimed in the tackle there of Brad Campbell. There's a nice story with Campbell, of course, travelling from the West Coast to play also for the Hornby Club. And he's had a wonderful year, Rookie of the Year last year. And he was really good. You're a Hornby man too, aren't you, mate?
No, Ricketed man, Ricketed Knights. But I think that's a great blueprint for the Community Lions, how they want to play tonight. Throw the ball around. They're not going to beat the Kiwis through the middle. Such a strong forward pack from Akarana counties in Canterbury in this resident side. So to see them go up the short side and throw the ball around a bit more is looking likely.
Francis Ledge has been a dominant force in the local game for a long time. In club footy here in Auckland, but as the co-captain, he's certainly led by example. Here's Alex Todd. Ton of experience. There's a kick, which is... It's gone backwards, is the call. Joe Green in control today. He's had a fair bit of work to do. Gareth Gale. From the Featherston Lions, Gale. And then it's Hayes, who's scragged. Sliding into dummy half, Spaven, and a penalty. The penalty count was well against the Community Lions on Sunday, so it was an area they felt they needed to address. They'll be pleased to have been given the whistle here.
Definitely 50-50 calls weren't certainly in their favour, but they're certainly working over the kicker, Tevin Arona. At a number of times they've come out of dummy half and applied the pressure on Tevin Arona, and it's working for them.
You speak about penalties, Dale. I feel like the Community Lions have really started this game well, like I said earlier, and they've set the tempo for the referee to be able to justify those penalties as we see them go forward, likely on this left side. You said earlier about Gareth Gale. He's certainly a big fellow and can run.
Showing on the inside, and then it's to Spaven, who holds it up. It's been a better start here, and they're showing some courage working through the middle as Alex Todd gets on to his defensive mahi. Here comes Connor Dwyer. That ball's been jarred and into the hands of the residents. Take it 25 out from their line and just 5 or 6 metres in from the western touch.
Good variation in their play. They're playing short side. They've shifted the ball to the right and those little chip through. So their variation in the game is fantastic. That defence on the right edge for the residents was just brilliant. The lead brother coming through, hit on suspicion.
So it's Ledger now to his feet. Total Purcell, that's a decent defensive effort from Jamie Tracy. Ripped into his work. Thado health crusader that he is, and a spinning run this time from Michael Butson, one of the standout players in the Premiership this year, the Cantabrian.
Butson's been fantastic. I mean, his body positioning is just brilliant. He works through. That was a great kick through.
Popped back in beautiful hands as well here. But it's a turnover. Showing great skill, though, on the far side of the field. It was Penatito Ilalio. But it was last roll of the dice for them. Let's have another look how it came to be. Stab through. Stolen and back on the inside it comes into Tangi Whakambo. Turns favour back to Ilalio.
Great attacking set there from the residents. But great to see the Lions get back in, get the defence, scramble defence, still staying in this game early on.
It's Connor Dwyer, lots to like about what we're seeing here from the Community Lions. They knew they would have to play it tough and stand up through the middle. They're doing just that at the moment. 10 gone, no score here. Game 3 of the tour. Carl Dixon angles this one towards touch. And it rolls end over end. It's a goodie as well.
Yeah, Dixon's kicking game has been just on point. I love the fact that they're getting through the middle. They struggled last weekend, but they're really having some punch through that middle. They're winning that ruck speed at the moment. Massive for the Community Lions at the moment.
Wonderful facility here in Auckland's West. As you can see, the running track utilised by the local athletic club, but also many schools have their athletics days here. The track in wonderful condition. The lights are on. Steven Arona, Troy Peckmuscle, and the Warriors Bulls pre-season game and set out most of the year, but then came back late for the final series. Hornby and Canterbury.
He's had a busy few weeks, Tevin playing for Cook Islands 2 in the Nines. Really standout player against some international talent there.
And there you see the celebrations of the Community Lions. I think they've won Lotto. But they've got good field position, Richie, and they'll be wanting to make the most of it.
Well, they're forcing mistakes. They're getting off their line. They're applying the pressure defensively. Their numbers in the tackle, you can see a little bit of a strip, but, you know, the luck's on their side. Showing some real enthusiasm.
They want to go back winners, don't they? The 2-1 record. I think it's been nicely structured, the tour. The North Island selection played courageously. That was made up of players out of the New Zealand Rugby League Championship, the Northern Swords, Coastlines, as well as Wellington. They won the championship, the premiership, of course, played with 4 regions, and then there's a mistake. So 1 step forward and 2 steps back at times. In fact, the scrum down just inside the 30-metre line. Centre field, and it's a New Zealand feed.
Yeah, a little error creeping in here. You speak about the North Island selection, Dale. It's been a great off-season or international bit for New Zealand Rugby League's pathways. We had Samoa down in Christchurch playing against the Canterbury side, the country New South Wales side, having the Community Lions over. The triple-header tomorrow at Eden Park. She's jam-packed this season of Rugby League.
And it really is wonderful into November as well. Speaking of which, boys, pinching a punch for the first of the month.
White Rabbits.
Up against space. In hold.
Just short of the halfway line to his feet. Total Purcell. I'll tell you, one guy who's been exceptional this year is Josiah Afu, and you've been really impressed by his game. He's from the Northcote Club, but he's just got a wonderful attitude, and he has to be marked really closely because close to the line, he can pick up that V and he just ducks out. You're a hooker yourself too, Lewis, so keep an eye on this young fella.
Yeah, I really like his deception around the half area. He's a bit like Marcus O'Brien. I was watching him closely in the warm-up for the Community Lions, and he's really deceptive around that area, making the markers go one way and taking off the other. Really excited about this hooker matchup.
Here's Geronimo Doyle.
Scored 16 points last week, didn't he?
Geronimo?
Yeah. It was fantastic. 3 of those players are in the New Zealand Māori side from last weekend, are in the squad.
It's Ledger, Doyle,
Tuitama.
Tuitama 4 then, because Totoa Purcell was there as well. It was a good victory for them. And now they're in a great position, the residents. It's like a bit of an issue here for Halalilo. Gets up and clutches at his knee. Nice hands out on that. Beautifully injecting himself in as Doyle back to Ledger. Ledger will try and free his arms, but 3 Community Lions defenders. It cost the top. He's only 6 metres out from the try line, though. There's a big chance for the black and whites. It's Arona. Great moving up off the line defensively. Good read from Jamie Tracy. Now it's with our Foodland. It's across. Good hands. Out wide it is to Tangi Thakambau, and here's Doyle. Geronimo Doyle's over the line. Can he get the ball down though? No, is the answer from our referee, Joseph Green. We'll back it up. Purposeful run there by the fullback. Came really close.
Thakambau was brilliant on that left edge. Trying to offload. He punches through that line. A great offload to Geronimo Doyle. So close to scoring.
Total Purcell gets up, he wasn't tackled, only Tracy comes. The second bite of the cherry. Connor to back it up onto the 10-metre line, still no score. 15 gone here in game 3. And it goes, nicely worked by Brad Campbell.
What a great phase of rugby league there. 3 minutes of great defence, great attack. New Zealand moving it side to side. Ledger getting involved, Taki Thakambau getting involved. But also equally up to the task, the community Lions getting off their line, their defensive line, and showing that they've turned up today.
They've defended strongly. And I guess before the game we might have anticipated the residents to have struck before 16 minutes. So hats off to the community Lions. Just like to again acknowledge the fact that it was all self-funded this trip. So one thing was to make it into the team. Then, as mentioned at the start, you've got to go and ask your girlfriend if you can come away for a couple of weeks, or your wife, or whomever. But they self-funded. The community clubs raised money, and they'll be wanting to do all their connections proud. I know that the footage here is ending back in England, so you can be proud of the way they've carried the red and white colours over the past couple of weeks here in NZ, and a little knock on, so the community Lions earn themselves another little opportunity here. They'll get the scrum feed, admittedly 15 out from their line, but they're weathering the storm so far. Richie Barnett.
Unforced errors around that ruck again. Salinga Kapau, who's been brilliant for Akarana this year, point Chev. Very strong carry of the ball. Both their props. Connor Taurua Purcell was brilliant against New Zealand Māoris last weekend. The front rotation's fantastic. Alex Todd, of course, the experience for the Bulls. Just basic football.
Plenty football with Alex. There, Lewis, you might have played some ball with him. He's one of the older guys there. I know he played some Barnacle Cup back in 2009.
Yeah, certainly a talented player. Someone to really look out for on this side. Alex Todd, nephew of Brent Todd, former Canberra Raider, and a real stalwart at the Linwood Cares down in Christchurch.
Is it true that Brent Todd signed a contract which said you're not allowed to pass the ball?
Oh, I think Richie will be able to answer that. He's a bit older than me.
I liked his style, though. It was forward play. And here is a half break. The ball's come good, and it's out to Connor Dwyer. And still alive with the community Lions and Kennedy. He's inside the 20 now. It's been a long time since they've been anywhere near strike zone. They're there now. Dwyer goes. Half volley pickup. Nicely done by Dixon. It was a poor pass. There's a chase out on the far side. And the black and white hands go up. And everyone's claiming that the other made the blue. Michelle Tambourou makes the call in the end.
Well, they're executing their game plan, aren't they? Their kicking game is on point, but their outside-inside ball to Ben Hayes was perfect. They mentioned it prior to that, that they want to try to vary the variation in their game and try to tuck back into the middle with a link. It's come off wonders.
Yeah, spoke about that, Rich, about the middle. They've really worked over that middle, and then sort of tying back in with Ben Hayes coming there through on the inside ball, working those tied forwards over. So you can see they get the feed. The first real attacking set on the line here.
This is nice, and that's perfect. Wonderful run for Dwyer. Off the scrum, and the community Lions celebrate. It took them 19 minutes, but they were in first 4-0 with the kick to come from close range.
Yeah, and they're happy about that. It's about that hooker we spoke about, Marcus O'Brien, taking the ball off the back of the scrum, getting into the A defender, and the big man, Connor Dwyer. Easiest try he scored on tour.
Well, look at this, eyes up. He's had a bit of a whack last week and he's back in action again. What a great pass. Poor defence from the resident side from the scrum attack. Geronimo Doyle coming off the back was a bit slow to really target O'Brien.
It's just come from that build up of pressure that they've applied early on, Rich. The residents are creeping in some unforced errors. The Lions have found themselves in good territory, good field position. And they made the most of it the first time they struck down here.
Peeling off the back of the scrum as well. They'll be celebrating somewhat at Thato, where Connor is from. His coach fancies his skill set in the squad's mix. Runs good lines, he said. You know, very hard-working second rower. And that's a wonderful start here for the tourists. Extras duly added. We're looking at 6-0. And you're watching the action here on the home of Rugby League at Sky Sport on your Friday evening as well. The Community Lions, as the sun sets out here in West Auckland, they take a 6-0 lead.
First quarter, very impressed. Community Lions, they've come with a different attitude in this match. They've realised that their opposition is a much stronger side, but that was just a nice play off the scrum. Joy to Dwyer, who's been brilliant their back row. Kennedy, Dwyer and Tracy have been brilliant.
Stay behind.
They've had a bit of starch. They've worked extremely hard last week, and they're doing it again.
What about a decent conversation too about some of their shortcomings on Sunday on Rotorua. It looks like a different team here today, Richie. And certainly an improved lot. This is the bloke I want to see moving. His name's Tier. He can certainly tear down the sideline if he's got just a little bit of space, but everyone will lift themselves off the back of that try.
Well, they didn't have much ball either, the outside backs in particular. Lazenby and Tier. And we also mentioned Gale, who was prominent in the first 10 minutes. He's come out of dummy half. Sizable outside back. With a bit of space, he'd be outstanding.
So now they've got them set. They're working down the right edge. Onto Carl Dixon's boots, and he sends it deep. Geronimo Doyle steadies himself, takes it cleanly enough. He's elusive. And it's the kicker who chases in to make the tackle with some assistance from the skipper.
Great set up the points for the Lions. Richard Owen will be very happy with that set up to the points there. Real power game. That man again, O'Brien, getting out dummy half.
Oh, you're right in front of me.
As I spoke too soon. Residents get a pity back.
Spencer Taplin a moment ago there with Andrew Amatangi. Amatangi too is a wonderful servant of the game. He teaches at St Thomas's School, which is delivering up some really decent young footballing talent. But of course, he's also coached the Linwood Kiers to 4 straight victories in the club scene down in Canterbury. Some running repairs here.
Great player back in his day. Junior Kiwi too. Could really play a real good game of football, Andrew.
Guys like must like working for him. He's had wonderful results. And even in the Premiership, now a surging run getting the New Zealand residents into good field position. The numbers are out here. It's Arona, now to Tuitama. And he puts the big fend on Scotty Spave and pushes him away. Into dummy half now comes Francis Ledger. He needs to be watched. Bullet pass for Aruna. Inside for Todd. No fuss charge this time, and he's 8 metres out from the line. This is dangerous here for the Community Lions. A better look out. Afu still alive. Here's Ledger. Ledger's too good from close range. He won't stop Francis from there. And he gets one down, just 6 or 7 in from the eastern touchline.
Well, Francis has owned that right side. 2 tries last weekend. Tuitama, the pass to Francis Ledger. That combination is threatening, but nice little right foot step. The ball comes out. It was always going to come to the right side. Tuitama, nice little pass. Francis Ledger with his right foot step, right foot, cuts back through the line. Great try.
Yeah, we spoke about energy early on. The residents looked a bit flat. And Coach Omatangi went to his bench, and it was Jameel Hunt who actually came on at number 15 with a really, really good carry. Found his front, got that tempo going. And a man who's Mr. Auckland Rugby League, Francis Ledger. Point Chev. Great servant of the game. Junior Warriors. I think I've spoken about it before. He actually broke his neck playing in a game, and he was in traction for a while, and there was a bit of talk that he might not be able to play again. So to see Francis back on his feet and playing so well, just shows what type of person that he is and how much character and how strong he is as a person.
I think he had it fused again twice. Unbelievable.
He's very well spoken to. You know, he represents the game. What good advertisement for it. Very humble man in victory. Gracious in defeat. But he's able to wrong foot Dave Kennedy and really put too much pressure there on Scotty Spaven to try and clean up. We need to watch him more closely. This time it's coming around and it's up the flags. No worries for Geronimo Doyle. We're locked up at 6-all. Intriguing little battle here in the first half. With just under a quarter of an hour to play. 25 minutes gone and it's 6-all.
Looking forward to seeing Aidan Ackland get his first taste of the jersey. He's had a fantastic year for Mount Albert. And of course Akarana winning the premiership.
Yeah, I've been pleased too. He's just put a little bit more beef on, hasn't he, Aidan? And a bit of a juggle there for Brad Campbell. Battled it out a little bit, those two, through the course of the year. There's Butson. It's for the club known as Kaiapoi, but I think now it's the Northern...
Yeah, the Northern Bulldogs.
Northern Bulldogs.
But made up of, used to be called Kaiapoi Bulldogs. Some great players out of that area, just up the road from my house. It's that man again, Hunt, finding his front. He's really added some impact off this bench. Really changed the game for the residents.
Loving that tackle from Connor Dwyer there. Saiafu put him away. The decent hit. Yeah, a little bit of a challenge at the back, but Ben Hayes is equal to that challenge. Minty Lions need to stay focused here.
Ben Hayes was fantastic last week, coming in for Freddie Walker, who's had a shoulder injury, unfortunately. He had a brilliant game that first up game against the Northern 13. Scoring a try and good support play. But this youngster here, the Warri fullback.
Tony Burns is on in jersey number 18. He is assisted here by Tom Horner from the Egmont Rangers. We wanted to put their little piece into the puzzle as well. It's a downtowner, and wisely enough, Doyle, no problem. Really glides across the field at times, Geronimo. Quick play the balls too. Delivers up opportunities as well. 17 on for New Zealand, 10 off. It's David Barner replacing Totoa Purcell. Speaking of which, here he is, Dave Barner. Wonderful character, David. He's taking his studies seriously. A very popular captain of the Warriors NYC. As you know, he's trying a little while over Newcastle, ended up stuffing his knee, really, was the story. And we thought he'd never see him on the footy field again, but here he is back, having another go, and that was a take from behind as Gareth Gale come and whacked into the back of Tuitama.
He's the biggest man on the field, Gareth Gale. Some size, and Tuitama isn't a small man.
It was very important here for the Community Lions to play with some attitude, and they've provided that for us this evening. I don't think they were quite on their game last week, but this is a courageous display we're seeing here now. Certainly they're keeping themselves well in the game here at 6 apiece. Curtis Tier gets his chance to take it to the line.
Certainly helps, I guess, from coming off a plane and settling into their patterns, and they're certainly well established now. The preparation's been a lot better for this game, and it's certainly showing.
Problem there for Barner. I thought he got up a bit ginger on the far side of the field, but still it's the Community Lions with the ball just short of the halfway line. Deep and wide. It's Dixon to Spaven, out to Connor Dwyer, the try scorer, injecting into the back is Hayes this time. He'll keep it alive for Dwyer. Shapes on Arona, but he can't get through as Francis Ledger comes up and wraps him up and puts him away. We've got a little problem here. I think it's Hayes in the background. And a bit hazy.
He may have got a hit. He's just weathering the storm off a big hit. He's slight, and he's just got to be, if he makes a decision, he's just got to go for it, just with a slight build.
So I was speaking to the Community Lions physio, as we see him picture on the orange shirt there, earlier before the game. He reckons it's been the busiest 3 weeks of his life. Can't believe the physicality that the domestic rugby league plays with in New Zealand. It's a good compliment.
He certainly twisted that knee as well. Yeah, hats off to our physio guys. And the tattooists of the world.
Might have to sacrifice a few tattoos to come on this plane.
Be surprised if a couple of the boys go back with more than they arrived with. There he is. Not sure, I might just acknowledge some of those travelling staff. Gary Truman and Aaron Scholes are the physio guys associated with the Lions. The manager is Alan Davidson, and the head trainer there, Richard Knight, assisting the coach, Richard Owen. Sometimes those who work very hard in the background, as you've just touched on too, Lewis, don't get any recognition.
It's quite interesting with the New Zealand residents too. You've got Spencer Taplin, who was the coach of the Counties Monaco side this year, and so there's a Phil Gordon also. So there's a lot of IQ there for the resident side.
Yeah, one of the gentlemen that is part of this Lions team. I've seen him many a time. He's actually helped out the Kiwis, New Zealand Kiwis, when they're on tour over in the UK. So great to see Mr. Davison back down under here.
Look at this run. I thought it would come a cropper, but it's all back on the inside, and that is a real shame too, because the work done by Leo was wonderful. We'll get a replay of it. I thought it was going to break down 20 metres or more on back, but just a weaving run and really nearly caught the Community Lions napping. This is the way to go, though. This is the charge that's needed. Jamie Tracy on the ball. Needs a quick play of the ball. Two residents strewn across the field. Out of dummy half comes Marcus O'Brien. Just starting to put the foot onto the gas pedal. Barner across the top. One of the few Māori Indian players we've got in the game. Out it comes out of Gareth Morgan. They want to have a go here. Here they come. Spaven and Dwyer. Dwyer is put away. He's 12 metres out from the line. Here they come. The Community Lions can set something. They can smell it. Here's the chase out wide. Gale climbs, but it's taken in the end goal. Slickly to by Lua Falealo.
Oh, what a great set there from the Lions. Went through the edges. They're looking like most likely through their back rowers. And Tracy and Dwyer really punching those edges at the residents' halves. And Campbell and Arona.
You can smell the sweet smell of success too in their eyes with a bulge down to their big British heads. And they were thinking, we're in, boys, we're in. And Lua Falealo says, no, you ain't, boys, go on. Hold up. Simon's been a wonderful contributor too, hasn't he? We haven't mentioned him much today. Lua Falealo, very experienced, terrific campaigner. Here's Campbell. Now the big man, it's Barner. Terrific guy. Led the haka beautifully too. I might add, the pass is poor and Francis's frustration hardly hidden.
Aidan Ackland's just come on, number 14 for the residents. His industrious nature, very competitor. And again, the back three have been prominent. The two wingers have just been direct. They're always going to find their way through if their defence is not strong enough. The big body.
Yeah, Alaleo, he's been one of the form players of the National Premiership. Just see an error there. Campbell. Tevin Onona, sorry. Ball a bit low, but that came from the pressure from the inside from the Lions. Really aggressive with the defence.
Just look to acknowledge Aidan Ackland, and that's him making the tackle there in the background. Follows in the footsteps of his dad, John, former Kiwi himself. And of course the proud name that the Ackland family carry. John, long-time coach of the junior Warriors. There he is, Mount Albert. The heartbreaking situation of kicking for a championship this year, Lewis, Aiden did, in the final of the Fox Memorial Championship. And what the courageous character he is on the field too, took it in his stride. It's football, you get a chance, sometimes you dream about that moment and you dream of the success, but obviously sometimes things just don't work out. We didn't miss by much, but rather than win the game, they lost it, and the Howick Hornets got up. Saying that too, congratulations to Sean Clark, coach of the New Zealand Māori squad, who assumed that role and was successful last week. That seemed high.
It was high, but Connor Dwyer, he's been busy early on. He scored the try, and his skill set, put in the little kick, two-pass kick, looking little plays off him. He's aggressive in defence. He's a big man. He's certainly been a standout in this first 35 minutes for the Lions.
Seemed to bounce up off the ball onto Luafalealo as well, so just in some defence of him. He's got a little problem here. It's looking to be an eye issue, is it?
I don't know, I can't see from here.
Well, nor can he. No, that's exactly what it is.
But going back to what you're saying before, Louis, the back rows are being superb. The starts that they've come out with and just been really aggressive, working hard for each other. It's been superb.
You speak rugby league's a hard game, but sometimes it could be so simple. And you're getting your back rowers running out your halves, the bigger men running out the smaller men to build momentum. And the Lions have certainly started doing that in this game.
Just following on from your comment too, Lewis, about physios and trainers and how they'll assist other teams. You know, it's not just teams they support; it's the game and the players. And there's a generosity of spirit that exists in that training staff. This is a nice ball for Barner. Barner thinks of putting the pass up on the 30-metre line now. 20 in from the eastern touchline. Ackland feeds. It's Arona. He's got runners of plenty. Campbell now, and Doyle gets into the action. This man's been problematic. It's Tane Thakambo. Nicely read as well from Dixon. He slides across to shut him down. 15 out. Just on 5.5 to play. Good barreling run through the middle by Halalilo. It's going to be dangerous here. Look out, here comes Ackland. There's not much off him, but he has a go to the line. And I think he might have got there. Well, he slipped and slides and comes through the middle. Thought nothing was on Aiden Ackland on debut. Scores underneath the crossbar.
Well, we spoke about him missing the goal. But what better way to make up for it than score for your country? If you look at the bench that the Kiwis have brought on, Ackland showing, going. He's been prominent, scores the try. Jamil Hunt, David Barner's been very busy when he's came on. He's added that spark that Coach Omatangi has wanted for this residents team.
Really enjoyed Butson coming in. He pushed up. It looked like he was going to get it. And it had taken the defenders away from this youngster here, Aiden Ackland. He read that extremely well.
What a try to score on debut. I mean, come on. He's got the ball. He throws a dummy. There's 3 big burly men from the Community Lions in front of him. And he just weaves his way through them. Just brilliant.
He's had a number of head knocks throughout the season for Mount Albert. And obviously through that period of the premiership. So he's had a good time to rest and recover.
I bet there's some concern there, but if you can protect yourself from those situations, all will be well. 12-6 with just under 4 to play. Let's have another look. You know, it was all Aiden. Work to do. Some of the best defenders so far in the game. He made them look amateur. Well, I realise that they are, but it was a very good effort from Aiden Ackland. A little chat to him prior to kick-off this evening. And, I was actually a little surprised when he said that he hadn't, first time in the black and white jersey. He never made 16s or 18s. You sort of assume The blokes have. That was beautifully taken as well. Campbell, skillful.
Hold the ball now. Here and hold. Hold.
Jamal Hunt with the play of the ball. Attitude of plenty here from Halililo as well. I like that run. That really does spark some enthusiasm as well. 3 to play in the first half. Everyone wants to get into the action now. Here come the black and whites, full of intent and sting. And their attitude is Ackland, just a short ball. Decent run for Butson. He'll roll to his feet. Look out. You get the feeling there's something on out here wide for the residents. Inside run, Tui Tama, one of the best this weekend, just gone, and again tonight. So Ackland gets out, chip it towards the end goal. The bounce is kind for Gareth Gale again. His centre's up. The chase is good. Long way from home for the Lions.
Residents wingers were just being brilliant. They've punched through that line. They really are running with purpose through that middle. Really impressed with Tuitama again. He's linking up well and creating havoc on that right edge.
Connor Dwyer has been one of the very best here for the Lions this evening. And he needs a little bit more support as Spaven finds a willing workhorse from Tony Burns. Barner is there to challenge him on deep. That's the thing, he'd have to tear. Not this time around. And picked up like a sack of spuds and dispatched as Ben Hayes. Spaven again. Angles towards touch on the far side of the field. Doyle taps it back in. He's got some classy touches, Geronimo. And away from one, make that 2. Difficult to contain. 32 metres out from the line. Lufalealo comes in from the far side. Simon, again, a great contributor to any team that he plays in. Butts it again. Strong, some decent defence as well from Danny Hurst. Quick scoop and go. It's Ackland. Picked off this time by the Community Lions. They know that they have to stay on guard here. Last minute of play in the first half. It's been an intriguing battle. 2 tries to 1 for the home team. So not much in it. Slowly to his feet, Campbell this time. They'll go down the left edge. Doyle gets hold of it. Just wants it to sit up a little for him. But it doesn't favour the chasers. And Ben Hayes has the ball as the big drag was attempted. He gets scragged. There's not much of the fullback.
No, he's having a tough time, the youngster Ben Hayes. He has been physically manhandled through this period, but he's just got to stay strong here, the youngster. But the resident side, you just see him start to find that rhythm. And they've really got to change and disrupt that pattern.
He needs some of his big men to toughen up beside him, don't they? He shouldn't allow your little guys to get scragged around as he has. It already injured his knee, and it feels or looks as though it's built on it. Don't blame the Kiwi players for wanting to do just that to him, ragdolling him and the like, but you can do a little bit more support at this stage.
I think they need to link with their wingers, add that support, that extra pass. We've got some grunt there with Gareth Gale. Curtis. So he's been size and strength, speed certainly on the edges there for Community Lions.
So the kick to the side from Bothwell's Carl Dixon. We're up on our clock here, can't be too far away. We're in the hands of the referee. The tap and go, there is the hooter in the background. Hope you're enjoying the action too as the skipper, Fran King, is put to ground. Half time here at Trust's Arena in Auckland's West in the third and final game of the England Community Lions. It's a 12-6 scoreline. New Zealand residents leading the Community Lions. And as always, you're watching all the action of Rugby League here live on Sky Sport. Well, there's nothing like Friday night football. It is is there, and tonight's action in the last game of the Community Lions tour. They're down by 1 try, but they're still very game, and they're a chance to claw this one back. They'll need to and start well in the second half. Great to see our West Auckland League fans eating chips and celebrating with the kids as well. On field, the New Zealand residents opted to stay. A little bit of a wind that is up. 75 Moina, having him back is neat. He's at the Māori game as well last week. So good to see that he still likes chips. Gosh, don't we all? I'm a big fan of chips as well, to be honest.
You can't beat a chip.
Jeez, he was a talented player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had something going on, didn't he?
Freak.
And, well, I don't know about freak, but it's...
a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh.
It's a bit harsh, Lewis.
A freak of a player, I mean.
Freak of a player, right. Okay, gotcha, mate.
Gentlemen.
There's another freak there, freak of a player as well. Konatotu or Purcell.
Yep, he's amping up.
He's ready
to roll.
Tevin Aronis, some nice distribution. Big Alex Todd there. And there's Aidan Ackland. It's a very impressive lineup, and they're just going to keep themselves a little fresh. Go up into the stands.
Cleveland Indians.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I was just downstairs, and it was quite cold. There's a bit of rain coming down. The wind's strong. So the Kiwi boys will want to stay warm.
Now tell me, it tends to come here in West Auckland anyway. It's a sou'wester, which would, I think, benefit the New Zealand residents as we look at the brains trust there. Almatania on the right, Gordon in the middle, Taplin. And they would all be proud men to have assumed these national coaching roles. In the coaching game, that's what it's all about. You start out in club, and many are satisfied with that. But if you do well, regional roles, national roles as well. One of the neat guys at the tour, Marcus O'Brien, took a decent whack, as you can see. I don't think he'd play today because it looked like he had certainly broken his nose at the moment.
Certainly know how that feels.
Yeah, well, gee, what were you calling him last week in Rotorua?
Who? Oh,
You said
unfortunate.
unfortunate. Oh, we're coming out with all sorts of things. More tape than an Abbey Road studio. It was just round and round and round. But
You could barely see, and you couldn't breathe either. It was just amazing how he stayed on the field.
there's David Barner. He's a proud young man as well, David. He throws himself into his work. Picturesque setting for the last game for the Community Lions. So it is the second half of the third and final game for our tourists who've enjoyed their stay in New Zealand. They'll enjoy it more too if they can stay in this one and claw a victory. So you can bet that this New Zealand residents team will just start to step it up, certainly in the early exchanges. Hunt once again. But play the ball for him. Ackland darts forward. Geronimo Doyle injects himself in. He's good from that spot. Look out. And Hayes is equal to the challenge as well. Well, it was the last chance to learn too, because Doyle can really fly. Down the right-hand side they come, and it's a searching ball out wide from Arona. This is Ledger with the flick pass, and Luafale dives on the far side. Was it good? The touch judge steps into the end goal. It's good, all right, and Joseph Green says that will do. What a start to the second half for New Zealand residents.
Yep, that man of game number 15, Jamil Hunt, coming through the middle with a charging run. And then young Ackland coming out one side of the ruck. Geronimo Doyle, like he has done all year, straight through the middle. Ben Hayes comes up with the tackle. And there's an early ball to Arona. Straight out in front to that man we spoke about earlier, Ledger. And the flick ball. The Matthew Gidley-like, Richie.
Yeah, I like this play. I like Ledger. The way that he came in, he squared up the defence. He stepped off his right foot. He squared up the defence and in and away. A nice little tip on there to the wingers who have been fantastic getting out of trouble, paving the way through the middle.
Yeah, overheard the coaching staff of the residents at halftime saying they wanted to play the power game, keep control of the ball. They've got a great bench, this Kiwi side. And they've certainly started the second half very well.
That little pop ball, it's become a real feature of centres play and almost a necessity have that in your arsenal as well. Ledger affected it very well there, but we've seen Latrell Mitchell working at O'Carr in the Australian team. It's just one of the tools of trade a centre has to carry. He delivered that beautifully to Lua Falealo.
Yep, I had to play centre for the Kiwis a few times, and I certainly didn't have a flick, Dale.
Well, yeah, but
it's a prized weapon. There's no question about that.
Yeah, you've got to have it,
and particularly when you're threatening and you can get outside your man and you draw the winger in, and that's the offload that comes into play. He's kicking so well. You just missed it to the right, but geez, his kicking game has just been superb.
Yeah, you speak about the flick pass, Rich, as you see it here, and just being able to present this and not knowing that you have it. Teams do so much video on analysts these days. It puts the winger in two minds, knowing that your opposition centre has that flick pass, not knowing whether to come in or not. And Francis Ledger, he really had one there.
The retiring skipper, Fran King, with the restart. Ackland to Barner. Bounces off one. The pass can only be effective too if you're using your inside arm as a fending arm. It just holds the chest of the player coming at you at bay and allows you just to offload. But Lua Falealo had to be there, and he dived for the corner.
And the timing of the winger too. Just timing that at the right time, with that, and giving him space and time with the ball.
There's someone that I've really seen develop it this year is Joseph Manu, who we're going to see in action tomorrow night for the Kiwis. He's one of the best at it. Just his eyes and his ability to look up. As we see Ledger again.
How proud of Tokoroa going to be tomorrow night?
It's
the
fantastic.
timber town of Tokoroa.
Yep. Tedavano, he was big last week for the Kiwis in a disappointing game for the Kiwis, that loss. But I know Joey Manu, what a great start to his footy career. Back-to-back rings, and he's got such a big future ahead of him. Just re-signed with the Roosters also. He's one of my favourite players to watch.
I like him too. They might have to replace the big wood man, the chainsaw man in Tokoroa, with statues of Tedavano and also Joe Manu. I remember saying to Tawara Nico that, hey mate, they should make a statue of you, Tawara, in the coal town of Huntley. He said, what are you going to make it out of? I said, well, coal, of course. He said, no, gold.
They can afford, he's only got one leg.
25% off.
G'day, Tawara, I know you'll be watching. Love your footy. And also your ex-teammates' bad gags. But anyway, we'll roll on with the footy here.
And he's got no mullet too, so a lot cheaper.
But he's lost the mullet.
He's growing in the waistline though. Big fella.
He was a great player though.
Yeah, he was too, man. Awesome. Coal town of Huntley. I like watching this guy go.
No, he's brilliant. He's been one of the standout players of the National Premiership for the Canterbury team. He played some wing. He's even played fullback. Very elusive with the ball, Alalelo.
Tangi Takambo. I'm practicing because I'm doing the commentary tomorrow for the Fiji game.
Best of luck.
Caesar THs. And Buller rules.
Banaka.
Thank you. So I'll just remind you again, if you're keen, there'll be some tickets available, triple header, unlike we've witnessed before. Samoa, Fiji, New Zealand, Great Britain, Aussie and Tonga. Holy dooly, it's going to be one heck of a day.
Yeah, we speak about International Rugby League, but 3 big games in one day. Looking forward to it.
The following week in Christchurch, it's Papua New Guinea against Fiji, the early game. Great Britain, their second head out against New Zealand. They'll be smarting after their loss to Tonga, who were really on point with their effort against them in Hamilton on Saturday night. So a wonderful atmosphere created by, well, I think it's almost an exclusively Tongan crowd. It looked as though you weren't allowed in without a flag. Short side now. Last tackle is the call here. The Community Lions, what have they in store? Danny Hurst to dummy half. They'll go down the short side. Here we are. And then trying to put it into the end goal, but the bounce is okay for Doyle. He looks to get a bit manhandled, and they're pleased about that too. 16-6 scoreline. The Community Lions in good field position. They'll get the scrum feed. They're a chance with the 6 to come.
Yeah, great way to answer back the Community Lions. As we see Danny Hurst come on at hooker. And Marcus O'Brien, who's been so probing throughout this game, has gone to lock. As we say, Geronimo Doyle for unforced area, unlike Geronimo. What a great opportunity there, Rich.
Yeah, great physicality there from Kennedy. Just muscling in there in the tackle. Geronimo Doyle. They'll need to keep this up. I was just thinking they needed to either to pick up their tempo or their aggression. And that was a bit of luck there.
So here's the tempo that we need to see. Carl Dixon gets hold of it and charges forward. Tackle one right in front of the post here, 5 out. Tackle from Tui Tama to the right-hand side. Jamie Tracy gets a chance. He won't get there with 1 out running, but they'll need to link up here as Hurst slides into acting half. O'Brien calls for it, pushes the pass, goes a little behind, so not as beneficial as if it was passed on his chest to his hands. He had to reach back. Just stymied him slightly on the inside, and the tackle comes across the top from David Barner. Community Lions still with a chance. Hurst, Spaven, Dixon, Tracy, little predictable. And the ball goes to the residents. So really, no one to blame there but themselves, the visitors.
Yeah, they're only 16-6 down. They've got to stay patient.
Look at this hole for Arona. Will he have the wheels? Curtis Tear can do that, and he tears down and wraps him up. 25 out from the line. Quick play the ball needed. Tear looks at the referee, then rolls off right at the last moment. Wide it comes, Brad Campbell. Oh, danger time here. Too easy for Leo, and he deserves that try as well, Penatito. He's been good all year. And the Linwood Flyer does the magic here for New Zealand residents. They take it out to 20-6 with the kick to come from out wide.
And it was lovely play. Doyle linking up with Tim Arona. He showed great pace, but the good scramble defence there from the Lions, Community Lions coming across. They shaped up nicely here. Brad, a nice pass over it. That was just a nice in and away. He was flat-footed, the defence of the Lions. But Penatito, again, scores a good try. Good yards through the middle.
Yeah, Rona hitting that hole well, didn't panic, took the tackle. And the best thing when you make a break is always to get it wide. The defence tends to scramble in, and the spaces on the outside. And this big man, Alaleo, can find a try, and he can find the camera.
Yeah, it's a lovely smile.
Great smile.
Bet his mum's watching out there. And Wahinet, good stuff, mate.
He's been great all game, though. He certainly deserves it.
I met Tevin's dad in the final as well when I was down in Canterbury. Good to have a yarn with him, so we'll be pleased as he bounced through. I expected Tear to pick him up, to be honest, because he comes with a big rep about the wheels that he has.
I think he may have, Fran King may
it's
have
half a mullet there,
probably
see?
summed that up pretty differently. Yes, that's the total
That's half a mullet. Well, the mullet's coming back. What about the Earl collection? Does it accommodate mullet looks?
No mullets allowed. But we certainly have a great range of New Zealand sports stars that wear it. A lot of the Breakers boys who had a great victory last night. The Sky Sports New Zealand Breakers. And Geronimo Doyle, he's certainly coming to his own. Brad Campbell, great ball out in front.
He got him, didn't he? He got him. Penatito coming through. Fran King defensively thought he was going to come straight through that, his left shoulder. He stood him up. He shimmied to the right. He was flat-footed, went through the gap. Brilliant work there from Penatito.
The skipper slightly outfoxed there, and he was able to come around him as well. Hilalio.
We spoke about the flick pass earlier on, about having that in your array of skills, but having the footwork and the outside backs, the ability to beat your player one-on-one. It's certainly what Alaleo did and has.
A couple of changes here from the Community Lions. So Mike Stark is in for Tony Burns, and Gavin Rodder is in to replace Tom Horner. Gavin Rodder in jersey number 19. Another penalty here. Well, Richie, you thought that there was a risk here of a big scoreline against the Community Lions. They held it tough there for the better part of that first half, conceding that late try from Aidan Ackland. They really pushed it out for them. So some fresh legs on for Coach Richard Owen for the Community Lions. Look at that run. Now that's the sort of run, and that's the reason Tui Tama's held in such high regard. Attitude, skill, and bravery. Speaking of which, yep, Community Lions, gee, it's a big run as well from Salinga. Brad Campbell, he tells courageous as Jamie Tracy picks him off. Okay, we're inside the 20 again. This poses some threats to the Community Lions once again. Kapawa runs really good lines. He's a big man. Little mistake there as well.
Yeah, that's the threat. Butson's so good at running those lines. You can see Aidan Ackland shaping to go left, but he throws it to the right. And knowing what Butson does with his right foot step, he shimmies around. He's got great footwork and good body positioning too.
Yeah, we speak about the area there, but if I was Coach Umatangi, I wouldn't be too worried about that. The difference between the way that the residents started this half compared to the first half, they've got that energy. And they certainly lacked that in the first half. A lot of energy, enthusiasm. Young Ackland coming out of dummy half, like you said, Rich, getting Butson on the ball.
I'd like to see Butson just shift a little bit wider, too wide of the ruck, and use his footwork there. Yeah,
he's got a great right foot step.
Brad Campbell with some good defensive work. He's a really solid, got a great physique for footy too, Michael.
Yeah, well, I think I've said it a little bit earlier in some broadcasting, but he's been in the Melbourne Storm system. He actually comes from the Kaiapoi Club, the Northern Bulldogs. He's been part of that Storm system. Speaking to him the other day, he's really keen to get his career sparking again, and he's certainly going the right way about it.
Well, Melbourne have assisted the careers of many young Kiwis. Their ID system's second to none. And, even tomorrow, Melbourne Storm graduates filtered through all of the teams that are on show at Eden Park. And look at this guy go again! Hey! I get a bit excited when Geronimo gets hold of the ball.
He's been sharp from fullback. Just his change of angles and his acceleration. He's been brilliant. Absolutely on point.
Lua Falialo of the Glenora Club this year. Just speaking about Michael, I thought he was eating the good Northern Canterbury food.
Yeah, I think he went through a bodybuilding stage there for a bit. Said he had a body of a goddess. He's playing certainly very well.
Oh, whose phone was that?
That was the Uber. Louis, you're off.
Godspeed, Louis.
Actually, Coco's. Hotline bling.
Here we go. It's Brad Campbell. Threads the needle, puts it in, and forced the dance across the dead ball line. Sadly, it was Carl Dixon.
Brad's playing a nice role there for the team. He's tried to operate that left channel. Nice kick a couple of times where it's resulted in a repeat set. Lovely weighted kick there. And good defence there.
You know, I think that young fella provides something of an inspiration to us all. This is Brad Campbell. To play with his teammates, he travels, across from the West Coast. Well, you might think, oh, that's nothing. But He walks over. Oh, okay, I might be exaggerating here. But, you know, it's a real trip, isn't it? Across from Greymouth. He lives in Greymouth, doesn't he?
Yep,
Plays in
Greymouth.
How long's that drive?
Is it Steve Gurney that used to do the coast to coast?
Oh, that's where I got mixed up.
Yep. He was some kind of athlete, Steve.
Come across for training, but it all worked out. Made the Canterbury rep team. Here he is in the resident squad. Hayden Ackland wants to get on with it straight away. To really lift themselves here is David Barner. As it goes, Jamie Tracy gets hold of him. He's 10 metres out now, right in front of the post. I'll score here in a minute. You get the feeling as Doyle's wrapped up by Spaven. This whole player, Nakabawa. Problem, head clash, player down, stepping, weaving, almost drenching his way to success as well as Aruna. Good ball, numbers, Tuitama gets the pass away. Luafalialo's under pressure. Almost squashed by the big effort of Connor Dwyer, the try scorer early on. Out to Ledger. It's a little bit too much on that one, Francis, this time.
Got a bit of a false start there on his kick, Francis.
Yeah, what happened there? He seemed to grimace.
Yeah, the old lock knee.
It's been a long season. That's a lost ball. Forcing an error here. Just with defensive attitude. His friend King hanging up the boots. What awaits is a lifetime of lawn mowing. Hey, Lewis.
I've got artificial grass at my house. Eco-friendly. Save the planet, mate.
Good idea. So Aruna showing it, you know, as the scoreline enables him to be the cheeky young fella that we know he can be. Showing Tuitama. He just doesn't stop this bloke. What a season. Matty's head. Inside ball. David Barner. A lion sandwich. Barner as he gets up. Good ball and Kapawa. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Almost. Ducking and diving. It's a problem at the back here. One of those players took a whack from Salinga. Head clash, I think.
Well, he's had that previously.
That's Butson. This is Salinga. Oh, my goodness.
That ball wasn't forward.
They've had quite a number of issues, Dale, last week, didn't they? With the head clashes. They've had to come off, so they're really unsettled last week.
You don't want to be losing this man either. He's probably been the best player on the field for the Lions. Big Connor Dwyer. Scored a try, really been probing on that left-hand side. It's really given Tevin Arona headaches.
We all shudder a little when we see those head clashes. Fortunately, Dwyer's okay. Campbell. And away almost this time around for Halalilo. So right in front of the posts. Ackland is there. Always threatening, and then Connor Purcell says, well, maybe it's my turn. But he too is held up, so credit where it's due. The Community Lions short up on D.
Again, Connor Dwyer.
Sorry, it was Salinga again.
Butson's been into everything again. Sorry, O'Brien.
Geez, he's certainly a great player, this O'Brien. You know, the heart, the dedication he's shown on the jumper tonight, it's been amazing. He's got a big engine on him, 62 minutes in, and he's still going. That's what you want to see from your players.
I liked him right from the get-go last Thursday. Topol. For some of these residents players, this is their final game of the year. It's a couple of more weeks of international window. But they'll have a welcome chance to put the jandals on, pull out the board shorts. Pushing down the left edge here now. Estate Kennedy. Working him over is the call here. That's off as well to Joseph Green and Rasmussen. Tamarua on the side. Instead of Mike Kerris and the team from NZRL, who've been wonderful in keeping us posted on the haps on the inside in preparation for this 3-match series for the Community Lions. Tap and go. Spaven. Oh, Roden. Gavin runs hard.
Get up! And hold!
Barner and Kapawa there. Almost to the line. Again, it's Barner. Ackland is there to assist. It's O'Brien and Spaven now. Ball down. Look out. Look out. There's plenty of wheels here. He's got a bit of age about him now. And he is pinned to Falialo, 30 out for the try line. Will roll to his feet quickly to play the ball. It's Ledger and he kicks it across to Campbell. He knows it's on. If they can get the numbers out there, look out for this bloke. It's a tunnel ball. Everything's gone backwards. Play on. Tony Whakambo now. Stepping the Fiji in. Benedetto with it and he's to ground. 6 out from the line. Well, keeping it alive. Then a fend from below. On to Purcell. Big Connor. Places Kapawa. Total Purcell. Doyle. Spinning. Elusive and very, very difficult to contain, Geronimo. A skill of being able to fold his body, get himself under tackles, through tackles. Butts in there on the 5th and final tackle now. We're up to 15 minutes to play. It's Ackland and now to Campbell. Want to get rid of it. It's into the end goal and it will be too big. Pretty skinny end goals here at Trust Stadium.
Yeah, skinny end goals, but what a great defensive set there from the Lions. They chase back. And here we go.
There's this tier. Is this the one we want to see? No, it's not. It's Jamie Tracy. Where is Tier? Curtis Terry's working the right wing. They need to make as much from this as they possibly can. Fend away from one. Still going strong. Roden. Roden is on the far side of the field towards touch, and he manages to stay in the field of play. Smartly done. He's done some damage. This time he is very slow to his feet. O'Brien. Inside ball. Nothing doing really there. Up through the middle. It's Tier down the right side. I can't see him calling for the football. Will they try it all? Here's a penalty and a full set here for the Community Lions. Welcome.
Yep, Jamie Tracy had a lovely run on that right edge. And then Gavin Rodden's been great since he's come on too. He's run on the left-hand edge there and he showed some real toe. Made a real impact.
Gareth Gale made a great chase back. Found himself in the middle. And they turned the defence into attack. Real good opportunity here for the Lions.
Oop. Too high there for Halalilo.
How great are these residents jumpers though? Very reminiscent of the old school Kiwi jumper.
Sure, they are, aren't they? Another look at the high shot. Well, he was ducking him pretty low there as well, Danny Hurst. It's not a feature of Nicholas's game by any means. holding up the clock here as we have a little problem. That's a real shame. It's tough. It's Aiden, one of the smaller guys in the field, as we say, courageous like there's no tomorrow. But, he's getting whacked around out there. It's got to be a concern for him and for his connections as well. He's to his feet. That's good to see.
Well, interesting phase of the game. It's vitally important that they get through, score some points. They just need to get a try over the line, build some momentum, confidence.
Okay, Connor, give space.
Certainly that man has had some real starch, Mike Stark. He's been brilliant.
This was just the one try. They would have hoped for better results. This is good though, and powering through to score after some time, some effort, as well as Dave Kennedy. A timely try for the England Community Lions. Out wide, and Kennedy hit the line at pace, found himself in a hole, picks up try number 2 for the visitors.
Yeah, he strolled over there. Great ball out in front. Show at the back, hitting a great line here. Kennedy. It's just been this last 3 minutes of play. The New Zealand residents made a break. The Lions got back, scrambled, and then they put themselves in this position. That's what you want to see from your players, Rich. Turn defence into attacking set and finish it.
And that line run, brilliant line run. Outside shoulder of Francis Ledger. He misses the tackle. He'd be disappointed with that. But the line run, absolutely superb.
Conversion successful as well.
Great striker of the ball.
Not sure who number.
Great kick from number 20, Tony Kelly.
Very observant there, Mr. Brown. 22-12, hey, that's added a bit of spice to the back end of this encounter. Beautiful evening here in Auckland.
Okay, stay behind.
Sorry, got that name wrong there. Number 20, the kicker, is actually Ryan Wilson, not Tony Kelly.
Thank you, mate. Thanks very much.
And hold! Hold!
He's on fire. Gareth Gale again. He's been brilliant for the Lions. He's never stopped right throughout this whole game. He's carved the ball up really strongly.
Okay, so the Community Lions, they need to score quick. I'll give themselves a chance to get a victory going home. I don't think that the Kiwi boys are going to allow that, though, because they'll shore up, surely, as Tracy's been one of the best today. Here he goes, Marcus O'Brien, Captain Courageous. He's been wonderful all tour.
Hold! Locked in. Hold! Go. Not late!
Yeah, he's got a good kicking game. Carl Dixon. Really like his combination he has on that right-hand side with Jamie Chasey, who you spoke about, Dale. The real blueprint there after scoring a try. Getting down that right edge, making easy meters, finding the front. As we see, Tuckaball from the Riccarton Knights.
Pump pass, watch out for this man. He's dangerous. See that spin as he hits the defensive line. It's been one of his tools of trade for a long time now, Geronimo Doyle.
Okay, stand down!
Halililo wrapped up in the tackle of Tia. Again, the visitors need to get hold of the football. Straightening with a hop.
Okay, last tackle! Here.
So it's Hunt onto Arona. Alex Todd back into the mix.
Late contact on the kicker.
Late contact on the kicker is the call here.
Connor Dwyer has been in everything. Really pressured the kickers right throughout this whole match.
Not now, mate. Not now.
Slightly off. Wasn't a lot in it. Nudge.
Would have been play on 10 years ago. Rich?
Wait there, when you're ready.
Been really
Play
impressive.
on.
Both teams disciplined today.
It was odd position.
It's been pretty good, hasn't it? Alex
Stand
Todd gets
20!
another chance as well. 22-12. We're into the final 10 minutes here of the Community Lions tour as Connor, Toto Purcell,
Move now!
charges towards the line. He's only a couple of metres out.
Go, Sue.
Watch out for Afu. Savvy hooker extraordinaire, and here is Ledger. Gets hit now for Tuitama. He too has a nice step. Wrapped up. Just a metre out. Pass is good. It's Arona and now Todd. Canterbury teammates. 8 out from the line. Afu. Always dangerous. Gareth Gale. Good technique to put him to ground. For Campbell. Campbell pops the ball as well for Arona.
That man, Gareth Gale, he's got number 2 on his back, but he's found himself in the middle. He's had a hell of a game tonight.
Just in front of the marker.
It's the type of stuff you want to see from your wingers, Rich. You used to get back in the middle back in the day.
All day long.
But he's a tall, strapping sort of wing, isn't he?
He's got a great
Like
physique.
build, yeah. But he does. He's certainly prepared to get up in the middle and have a go, give his forwards a breather.
Up and squeeze. Hold on.
Just over 8 to play. Seem to be just a little gassed at the moment. As Tier comes in. He's had a lot of football. Teenage flyer, and this time he uses a fair bit of energy just getting to his feet. And again, we're seeing O'Brien. If there's an award for bravery, he would very strong contender.
He's certainly a hard worker. He's got a lot to like about him.
An opportunity down the left as Dave Kennedy gets it. Gale. It's gone backwards. Not touched. We're hoping for another set. Spaven. Launching it high. Doyle is tapped forward. By the try scorer, in fact, the try and Wilson. 22-12. This man has caused a few headaches with the Community Lions D. Ilalio. Campbell. Halalilo. Tangi Thakambo down the left edge when they use him. Ledger goes into acting half. He will this time. Doyle just tries to find a half break. Pops the ball and keeps it alive. Here is Campbell on the hot stepping. Nice work as well for Jamal Hunt. Finds himself to ground on the halfway line. Half time, 12-6 to the Community Lions. As we work it down the right side. Flung to ground. And the tackle of Gavin Roden. Up to his feet, Tuitama. And here is Alona! And makes it look easy. They were just tiring. They put a bit of pressure on the residents. And Alona snaps at them and puts a try on to extend the lead here as we approach the last 6 minutes of play. Tevin Arona.
Yeah, great phrase of play there from the residents. Started with that man, Jamal Hunt. Alaleo, the young hooker getting out, getting great yards. And then a man who's had a great season domestically and internationally. Gets himself on the board. Lot to like about that try, Richie.
Yeah, well constructed set. Started with Geronimo Doyle. punching through that left channel, blind side, using his footwork and offloading inside. And they carted the ball to the right. They extended it again. They really utilised the ball and width of the paddock in that set. This man was the recipient of a great set. Te Arona.
This young halves combination of the residents, they seem to have the ability to know what their outside men are capable of, and given that early ball to the likes of Ledger, Tani Takabau, and their probing back rowers.
Geronimo's been kicking well today. Yeah, as mentioned, the regional rivalries from the Premiership shelved. Get some cohesion out here on the park for this one-off game. And despite a couple of hiccups, they haven't been quite as sound on defensive as they would have liked. It's been a pretty impressive performance for Andrew Almatangi's New Zealand resident squad. Here's Geronimo. It's nice to know you've got a bloke with a kicking so you can add the extras. As we look into the bench, Kapawa, Barner, Ackland, satisfied with their efforts here in Auckland's West. It's a good lead, 28-12.
Good lead, a satisfying one for the residents, coaching staff, and the Lions, community Lions, pretty impressed, I've got to say, in the way they've handled themselves in this game. With all their travelling, their sightseeing. This guy on screen, clearly the leader of the pack there, Marcus O'Brien. Just like to finish it off, 4 minutes to go really. So let's see what sort of punch they have in the last 4 minutes.
Made a nice gesture to the retiring captain, Frank King, as he made his way onto the track. Burns is on for Gavin Roden. And, Gareth Morgan is in the mix as well. He replaces Ryan Wilson. Once again, just acknowledging the connections for the community Lions. It's been wonderful to have them here in New Zealand as well. And, they'll be looking at this tape to review their efforts on tour. Let's hope that we see much more of each other in the years to come. A reciprocal trip.
Go, right in.
These players here.
Speaking to the staff before the game, they're really excited about getting to see Great Britain play tomorrow. A lot of these players in this community side look up to a lot of the players in that Great Britain side. They fly out on Sunday night. And they're looking forward to having a day off on Sunday and having a look around Auckland.
Well, I hope they enjoy themselves. And, not too disappointed by the result we're expecting. Oh, and it's almost an intercept.
Stark's been great again, the number 8. He's really been prominent this whole match, as is the winger Gareth Gale. These two players really stood up today.
Yeah, it's time to look at favourites and the like as well. We'll come to you first, Lewis.
Yeah, it's someone that I really thought has changed the game for the residents when they needed it. The whole bench has been great. Big number 15, Jamil Hunt, I like him a lot. He just grit his teeth, knew what his role was, and he just got the Kiwis going forward.
There's a chance as Curtis Tier finds himself with a bit of an opportunity. 10 out from the try line now. Can they finish with a bit of class as Carl Dixon goes into acting half? It'll pop the ball very easily read at the moment. It's like a big print kids book, that one there. Everyone knew what was going on. Let's see, but this one they did it, and the pass was forward. You know, it sure was. I don't think there can be any complaint there by referee or of referee Green's decision. Let's have another look.
Come on, Johnny Burns. That was way forward.
Let it go, mate. Let it go, mate. It won't forward.
Lane ball.
It was well forward. Well, a couple of standouts for me too. I think Brad Campbell's been exceptional here today. Its distribution has been great. And, one of my favourites, of course, is Matty Tuitama. I think he's just a wonderful workhorse. Ton of attitude. There's been some good play from both squads as we come down to the last few moments. And Te Arona, competitor that he is, will take it right to the wire as well. He won't give up trying to get across the line. That's the hallmark of a player of character. Here's Tuitama, still taking the hits. He's had a wonderful 2019, this bloke, and we'll look forward to seeing more from him next year, whether in club or in provincial. Jamal Hunt's been a lovely addition as well to the local scene. Player with tremendous ability. And this guy here, well, he too has been terrific, and they almost create something for the co-captain, Francis Ledger.
He's a great player, this little number 9. Got a bit of David Failmore about him.
There's the hooter in the background as well as we get another little look, and the curtain comes down on the British Community Lions tour of 2019. Score at the end of the match, it's 28-12. New Zealand residents win this one in West Auckland. It's great to have you along too. You're watching all the action here on Sky, quite deservedly. The two teams coming together. Fran King hanging up his boots. I think that they'll be pretty satisfied with their efforts here tonight. There was a chance it might have ballooned out, but they held tough. And in the end, the New Zealand residents team come away with a decent sort of a victory today. Thanks to the Community Lions for their efforts in coming all the way here to New Zealand. As they say, 12,000 miles. His teammates congratulating Fran King from the Wathbrow Club as he hangs up his boots after 26 years of rugby league. And as he mentioned, he's made some wonderful friends, and I'm sure some of them now are based here in New Zealand. Congratulations to you, Fran, and to your team. Played in good spirit, and of course celebrating the amateur matches as well. Francis Ledger is the co-captain of the New Zealand residents. He is with Courtney.
Well, Francis, congratulations, 28-12. What were you most happy with out on the field tonight?
I think most of all we're happy with the victory. Can't go past a victory in any sport, and it's always good to win. So just pretty happy with the boys to get a win today.
A win, but still a tough match out there. Where were the Lions most threatening?
All over the park today. We had the opportunity to play them last week, and today they brought the A game again. I know they had a few busted players out there, but they still brought it tough, just like the English are, so credit to them.
What does it mean to you and to the team to put on the New Zealand residents jersey?
It means a lot, eh? We're not only playing just for the brothers out there today, it's our families, our communities, just where we come from and who we represent. It's not just us group of boys, but it's a whole country, to be honest.
And Geronimo Doyle, he was influential for you guys from the back tonight. Yeah,
he's an awesome player. He's still young. He's growing a lot, and he played very well today. I think he played very well last week as well, and yeah, he just showed his class today at the back.
Well, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Can I just say a quick shout out too, please? I just want to say a shout out to the Sartele family who lost Len. He's getting buried today, and I just want to wish the family well, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you. A great game by yourself and the New Zealand residents tonight. We bring in Fran King, captain of the English Community Lions. Your last international match tonight. How did you see the game?
Again, tough. Very physical again, and very similar to the Maoris, to be honest. They threw a lot at us and asked a lot of questions, but I'm proud of the boys tonight. I think we'd give it a good dig and give a bit more account of ourselves and showed we can compete with the best as far as I know. Yeah, very good.
What has it been like getting to experience rugby league here in New Zealand?
Oh, awesome. What a feeling. To represent your country is brilliant, and to come over here to a place like New Zealand is fantastic, and it just shows how passionate everyone is over here about rugby, just like we are, and some very talented boys there. Very good. The
game started well, but where did the residents feature out here tonight?
I think it's very similar to the Maori game. They were just clinical at the right times, and we probably fell off tackles. We were a bit busted, but I think the boys gave everything we had, and I couldn't ask for any more. Definitely not.
Well, it's been awesome to have you guys here. Safe travels home, and I guess you get a few days off before you get on that plane, so enjoy very much.
Yeah, a bit of rest. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, isn't this what rugby league is all about? Friendships created. Sure, it's hard and tough out on the field, but off the field, all share in the love of the game that have meshed them all together. Thanks very much to the visitors from afar, those who represented Egremont and Wathbrow. We've mentioned them, the Saddleworth Rangers and the West Hulls and the Wigan St Pats. It's been awesome to have the English Community Lions in New Zealand. Well, from me, Dale Husband, and our two commentary men, Richie Barnett and, of course, Lewis Brown, we're looking forward very much to tomorrow and the action at Eden Park. It's going to be a super day of rugby league. I hope you can join us, if not physically and literally, watching us tomorrow, or picking up on Sky Sports is what I'm about. Samoa, Fiji. Then it's New Zealand up against Great Britain, followed by Tonga up against Australia. A triple header that you won't see again in a long, long time. Thanks very much for joining us out here in West Auckland as the sun sets on the Community Lions Tour. A win here to the New Zealand residents, 28, and the Community Lions 12. It's great to have you with us. I look forward to your company tomorrow. Thanks, boys. Thanks very much, Lewis.
Thank you.
No, fantastic day out. Sky Sports 4.
Looking forward to seeing your action, and we'll leave you with some of the imagery from this wonderful clash. Hope to catch up with you tomorrow on the home of Rugby League, Sky Sport.